Hello everybody and welcome to our latest video series, and I'm calling it The Gospel from Graffiti. This is part one. You're very welcome. If you've never heard these talks before or been on our page, great to see you. If you're a visitor again, thanks for tuning in. And also I would say again that perhaps maybe in the past few weeks you've received some flyers through your door. Ourselves have been giving them out. Wash your hands and stay safe, but what about the heart? And also, just to say as well that whenever the restrictions ease sufficiently as per government guidelines, we're going to be able to have a drive-in gospel service in the Northwest Business Park, Looney, on Sundays at 5 o'clock. So stay tuned to our Facebook page to know when we'll be recommencing the drive-in gospel service. But until then, you can access these gospel talks here on our Facebook page. Now, I'm here standing quite high in the Ox Mountain Range in West Sligo, not too far from Loch Easkey. And I want to read a verse before we continue in Isaiah, the book of Isaiah, chapter 53 and verse 6. All we like sheep have gone astray, we have turned every one to his own way, and the Lord hath laid on him, that is Jesus Christ, the iniquity of us all. Now you notice behind me here, you've got, somebody has drawn the picture of a black-faced sheep here on this old rune. Now, it wasn't me, before you wonder. I haven't done it just to facilitate my talks here, but somebody has drawn this sheep's head on the old rune here. It's very appropriate because around here there's many black-faced sheep. Now, I know very little about sheep. I know a male sheep is a ram and a female is a ewe, and that's about the height of my knowledge, to be honest. But every time I've passed by this area, you know, I have thought about this verse here in Isaiah 53. All we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned every one to his own way, and the Lord hath laid on him the iniquity of us all. You see, there's one thing about sheep, that sheep are naturally inclined to stray and to wander away. If you have sheep in a field, you better have it well fenced, because sooner or later they'll find a hole, one sheep will wander out, the rest will follow. It's in sheep's nature to wander and to stray. You see, it reminds me of a verse in Proverbs chapter 16 verse 25. The writer says there's a way that seems right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. And ever since the very first two human beings, Adam and Eve, back in Genesis, man has wandered and woman have wandered away from God's truth and God's law. We live in God's universe, and yet we have gone our own way. You see, if I was to conduct a survey, I would get so many different answers as to why we're here and where we're going and what's the meaning of life. How true the words of Isaiah, all we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned everyone to his or her own way. It started back in Eden. Eve, the very first woman, she was one of the very first sheep, and she wandered away and she said, no, I listened to the serpent's lies, the devil's lies, and I'll take of the forbidden fruit. Her son Cain killed his brother and wandered away. It says Cain went out from the Lord's presence. After the flood, when Noah and his family came back on a regenerated earth, you know, God had said to them, scatter out and replenish the earth. And they said, no, we build a tower lest in case we be scattered. And so on and so forth, right through history. Men and women have gone astray and gone away from God. And we need to be saved from our sin. You see, the gospel really, in essence, is so simple. We have sinned against God, we're responsible to him, we have broken his law, and no amount of reformation or attempts at self-improvement will ever help, because you see, it's the nature that needs to be changed. You know, I sin because I'm a sinner, and it's not so much me cutting off my bad actions and trying to control my temper and trying to love my neighbours and trying to be helpful. No, my nature is wrong, and I can't change my nature. No religion can change my nature. The only thing that can change human nature is the new birth. And that's why in John chapter 3 verse 16, Jesus Christ is speaking to a man called Nicodemus. Nicodemus was cultured, he was refined, he was morally inclined, he was genteel, he was educated, and maybe he thought he was fine for heaven. And Jesus said to that man, he says, marvel not, he says, you must be born again. If you want to see the kingdom, if you want to be in heaven, Nicodemus, Jesus Christ said, you must be born again. And I have to say the same to you today, dear listener. If you want to be right with God, if you want to be in heaven, it's through Christ and him alone. Jesus Christ said, I am the good shepherd. We're talking about sheep. You see, Jesus Christ said, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd gives his life for the sheep. We have all wandered away from God. Let me read the verse again. Isaiah 53 verse 6. All we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned everyone to his own way, and the Lord has laid on him, that is Christ, the iniquity of us all. That happened at the cross. The death of Christ and the cross of Christ was a payment for sin. But the question is today, are you going to accept that? Are you going to turn from your own way and admit that God is right, and that God, when God says, I'm a sinner and my nature is corrupt, you're right, God? Are you going to say that? Is that going to be the language of your heart today? Are you going to bend and bow to the truth of God? You have a choice. You have a will. God didn't make robots. Robots can't worship and love and serve. Robots are just pre-programmed. We're not pre-programmed today. We have a free will and a free choice. When Jesus Christ was here, he wept over a city that wouldn't come to him, Jerusalem. And he was sad as he saw men and women turning away and going their own way. There were those who came to Christ. There were people like Matthew, the tax collector, who came. There was people like Peter and Andrew who left their fishing vessels and followed Christ. I'm glad I came to Christ when I was 17, realizing I was wrong, I was guilty, I was a sinner. I was like the sheep here in Isaiah 53. Let me read the verse one more time. Verse 6, all we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned everyone to his own way. And next time you're up here, past Loch Easkey, again, apparently it's a very good lake to fish for salmon and trout, and even a certain type of European eel if you've got a permit. But if you notice the sheep here on the old ruin on your left hand side, remember the little talk. Remember the Bible verse. All we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned everyone to his own way, and yet the wonder is that there's salvation offered. Christ has died. The provision is made for you to be right with God. Will you take it? Will you trust Christ and be happy now in life, and know that when the time comes to die, you'll be with Christ and you'll be in heaven, which is so much better. I leave the verses with you, and again I would say that if you'd like a free Bible, please get in touch. Just send me a text. My number's on the Facebook page, 086 850 9000. Send me a text for a free Bible, or maybe a CD or some information. Please get in touch or make a comment on the Facebook page. We appreciate all feedback, and we appreciate all who've liked the page and logged in the past. But please get in touch if you'd like a free Bible or some more literature, or even maybe in these days a socially distanced visit, maybe in the countryside. Please get in touch. Thank you for listening. I do appreciate your time very much.